This video breaks down Norm's escape from Vault 31 and Hank's brutal experiments in Las Vegas, revealing how both storylines are secretly about the same idea: control disguised as leadership. By examining lies, incentives, and corporate hypocrisy, we uncover how Fallout argues that the apocalypse didn't erase power systems, it perfected them. Fallout has never really been about nuclear bombs, mutated creatures, or even the end of civilization. Those are just the visuals. What the series is actually obsessed with is what survives after everything collapses. And the uncomfortable answer is that hierarchy, control, and manipulation don't just survive the apocalypse, they become more efficient. Nowhere is that clearer than in the parallel storylines of Norm leaving Vault 31 and Hank conducting experiments in Las Vegas. These arcs aren't separate, they're mirrors. Norm's story begins with a decision that looks merciful on the surface but immediately reveals something darker underneath. He thaws only some of the people in Vault 31, not everyone. That selective awakening matters. It tells us that this isn't freedom breaking out accidentally. It's a managed transition. The newly awakened residents assume it's Reclamation Day, the moment they've been psychologically trained to expect for decades. Crucially, Norm doesn't correct them. He lets the lie exist because he understands something fundamental about people raised inside systems. They don't need truth to move forward. They need structure. Almost immediately, the Vault 31 residents ask about Bud, the figure who is meant to guide them into this new chapter. Norm tells them Bud is dead, and the show visually reinforces this with the image of the brain on a Roomba dumped into a bucket. On the surface, that's confirmation. But Fallout is careful with what it shows and what it withholds. We never clearly see Bud's brain attached to that machine, which matters in a world where consciousness can be transferred, preserved, or weaponized. Here's the key correction. Whether Bud is truly dead doesn't actually matter yet. What matters is that control has not died with him. Bud isn't important as a person. He's important as a function, and Norm steps into that function almost immediately. The Vault 31 residents spiral into panic. Without Bud, their entire sense of purpose collapses. They don't know how to act without instruction. Norm recognizes instantly that telling them the full truth won't stabilize anything. Cooperation, honesty, and shared responsibility sound good in theory, but these people were never trained for that. They were trained to obey. So Norm lies. He invents a new authority figure on the spot, claiming he's a genetically engineered supermanager and that the residents of Vault 31 were selected to serve him. He reframes escape as Bud's final test, transforming a life-or-death crisis into a performance metric. Then he introduces incentives. Merit dots, meaningless circular bandages elevated into symbols of achievement. And it works. Immediately, the residents stop panicking. They start solving problems. They organize, innovate, and apply their intelligence, not because survival alone demands it, but because authority has framed survival as success. Fallout isn't being subtle here, and it shouldn't be. This is a brutal satire of modern office culture, where arbitrary rewards and fictional hierarchies replace genuine cooperation. This is the moment where Norm crosses a line, not into villainy, but into replication. He doesn't destroy Vault-Tec's ideology. He proves how portable it is. What makes this unsettling is that we're still encouraged to root for him. Norm isn't cruel. He isn't sadistic. He believes he's doing what's necessary. But that's exactly the point. Fallout is showing us how easily good intentions slide into manipulation when people are conditioned to respond to authority. Norm doesn't lead these people out by empowering them. He leads them out by exploiting their conditioning. That's not an accident. It's a warning. Eventually, the Vault 31 residents discover a hatch with a ladder leading to the surface. As they emerge, some complain about how ruined and ugly the outside world looks. Norm, by contrast, is awestruck. He sees beauty, hope, possibility. This isn't innocence. It's irony. Norm hasn't yet encountered the real consequences of the world he's entering. He hasn't seen the ghouls, the radiation, or the violent ecosystems created by unchecked corporate ambition. In ignoring Bud's warnings, Norm doesn't escape Vault-Tec's worldview. He carries it with him. unknowingly prepared to apply the same logic in a bigger arena. While Norm learns how easily people can be motivated by lies, Hank demonstrates how easily people can be sacrificed in the name of progress. At the Vault-Tec facility in Las Vegas, Hank is testing a brain-computer interface. First on mice, then on humans. The results are catastrophic. The device doesn't malfunction gently. It explodes its subjects. When the mice die, Hank escalates without hesitation, selecting a human test subject from the Premium Elite Plus section of the facility. This detail is essential. These aren't random survivors. These are people who paid extraordinary amounts of money for the promise of safety, superiority, and survival. And yet, the moment they become inconvenient, their status means nothing. The man doesn't survive. His head explodes. Hank barely reacts. Instead, he rationalizes. He claims this man didn't care about his family during the nuclear holocaust, that he failed them. On the surface, this justification aligns with Hank's self-image, a man who went to extreme lengths to protect his loved ones. But the hypocrisy here is staggering. Hank is judging someone for how they responded to a catastrophe that he helped create. Vault-Tec caused the apocalypse. Hank works for Vault-Tec, yet he positions himself as morally superior, as though survival is a virtue rather than a commodity sold to the highest bidder. This is the lie at the heart of elite systems, that access equals worth. The Premium Elite Plus designation is fallout at its most vicious. It exposes the fantasy that wealth buys immunity. These people believe exclusivity makes them untouchable, forgetting that exclusivity only exists because someone else controls it. Vault-Tec and Robco don't sell safety. They sell leverage, and leverage is never permanent. Fallout makes a brutal observation here. Private corporations don't stop exploiting people once they run out of poor victims. They simply move up the ladder. After the commoners are burned, the elites become fuel. The fire doesn't care who fed it. Hank embodies this perfectly, whether he's trying to impress a superior or simply pushing boundaries because no one can stop him. Ethics mean nothing to him. Human lives are variables. Progress is measured only by results. This is why the Norm and Hank storylines belong together. Norm manipulates people to escape a vault. Hank kills people to perfect control. One uses incentives, the other uses experimentation. Both operate on the same logic. People exist to serve a system. Fallout isn't asking us to choose heroes and villains. It's asking us to recognize patterns. Power doesn't disappear when the world ends. It adapts. It rebrands. It finds new ways to justify obedience and sacrifice. By the time Norm steps into the sunlight and Hank wipes blood from his hands, the message is unmistakable. The apocalypse didn't destroy civilization. It stripped away the excuses.